3:45 left in quali.
So it's working. Fuck. To hit the wrong thing when it brought up the pop-up saying that there was an update for OBS. I usually hit remind me later, but I ended up hitting the wrong button and it updated it, so I usually never update.
Our mics are live or hot. They were. Yeah, we're going over YouTube, Rob. I can get a feed when you get a minute.
Well, welcome in. Hopefully this is working. Technical issues driving me crazy, but this is week 11 of 12 of the FMA GT3 series. Our drivers currently in qualifying. We'll head to the track here shortly to see how they're doing in that, and then get into some racing here. But in the booth with me, guy I've been chewing his ear off. He's taking all the brunt of the frustration here before the race has started. Mr. Richard Swindells. Welcome to the rain in Sebring, Rich.
Well, I was imparting wisdom on you, Rob, and it didn't seem to be working, but yeah, we're here, folks, and this is going to be crazy. And look at the puddling and the pooling of water here at this bumpy track at the best of times as we watch them slip sliding around.
That they are doing. They've got about 30 seconds left in qualifying, so we'll quickly take a look and see at what we're dealing with here this evening. We're at Sebring, 3.6 miles in length. This is only a 14% chance of rain, but it looks pretty wet out there right now. 17 corners for the drivers to drill with, 78 degrees Fahrenheit track temp, and 78 degrees Fahrenheit air temp too as well, so matchy there. Let's take a look at the calendar. As you can see, we're in week 11 of 12. This one brought to you by Brandon Anderson in the rain at Sebring. Next week, we'll wrap up the series and the season at round 12 in Bathurst. Brought to you by Gustavo Ferrara. We haven't seen him around a little bit in the GT3 side of things, but the format for this evening is the same as it's been. 80 minutes of practice. They've got that done. Qualifying just finishing up. The race 45 minutes in length. No, I should say actually one quick repair. I believe they added one in just because of the rain here this evening. So we'll update that. There we go. 60% fuel as usual. And they are running fixed setups as per usual here this evening. 20 incident points will get them a drive-through. Another 10 will get them another drive-through. And luckily for our drivers, no DQ limit here tonight, Rich, in the rain.
Well, yeah, I think that is certainly lucky, but we're going to do a full pace lap here at Sebring, which is good for us. Lets us get a little bit caught up, and it's going to be a little crazy. But let's take a look at the qualifying results. On pole, Chris Lashbrook, our Aussie driver, is looking forward to Bathurst, but doing well in Florida. In second place, we've got Nathan Fuller. On row 2, Brandon Anderson, the sponsor, Marshall Crocker Jr., fourth place. Row 3, we've got Anthony Barranco in 5th with Kyle Mavis in 6th. In row 4, in 7th place, we've got Alex Jacobson. In 8th place, Mark Nelson. And running out our top 10, we've got Chase Matsko and Matt Mars.
11th place, we're going to find Nigel Steely and Ryder Poe in 12th. 13th place is Alex Berger and Stebo. In 14th place, Cody Deek to his outside. 15th place for Ron Matthews and Timothy Dunn going to start to his outside in 16th. Justin Moskowitz in 17th with Aaron Siemens in 18th. And then round out the top 20 is going to be Paxton Frith. And our series sponsor for this season and next, Jeremy Eshelman.
Yeah, then in row 11, we got Curtis Kinnicker. Jacob Williams sitting 22nd. Row 13, we've got Adam Lowe and Philip Dos Santos. Mark Ossier's in 25th, PJ Wentline 26th. Row 14, Michael Lemanchik 27th, Jacob Cotterman 28th. And rounding out the field today, we've got Joseph Spillman with no time set.
Just one shy of 30 cars on the grid here tonight, Rich. And the rain at Sebring, actually, it looks like the rain has stopped, so our driver's just going to deal with a wet track to start, it looks like here at Sebring.
Yeah, a little bit of wetness, but we're at 5:05 local time right now. And looking at the forecast, I don't see any more rain coming until about 6 o'clock. So we shall see what happens, Rob, but definitely a lot of dampness on the track still from the rain during practice and qualifying.
Well, we got a moment while they're doing the full pace lap here. Why don't we go through the points? Rich, why don't you take us through the pro side of things here to kick things off?
Yeah, on pro side, we've got Marshall Crocker Jr. with a 58-point lead over Alex Jacobson. Chris Lashbrook's 31 points behind Alex in third. Chase Matsko's solid season. He's 4 points back of Chris. And Anthony Jenkins rounds out your top 5, just 1 point back of Chase Matsko.
And over on the Pro-Am side of things, Kyle Mavis continues to lead the way, although only 14 points now ahead of Jeremy Eschman. Anthony Barranco, another 16 points back of him in third place. Matt Mars creeping into fourth, 53 points behind our leader. And then Dustin Wells and the Big Cheese going to round out the top 5.
Yeah, but we also have amateurs racing this season. We've got Jacob Williams in first with a 33-point lead. Alex Berger, strong season once again, 33 points back in second, but just 3 points back of him is Justin Moskowitz. Mark Ossier, the model of consistency, sitting in fourth place with Nigel Steely in fifth.
And then over on the team side of things, Iron Horse Motorsports still with a commanding lead over Threshold Motorsports in second place, 60 points back. And Mid Advantage only 23 points back of them in third, with Warped Esports and FR Racing ran out the top 5, but looks like they're going to have to settle for fourth and fifth at best right now. I don't see them moving up. Gaining 180 or 215 points here in the last couple races, Rich.
Yeah, it would definitely be difficult. But hey, I guess stranger things have happened. Just never to my benefit, Rob. But yeah, look at that. I mean, yeah, that looks like the sun's trying to come out here, but certainly lots of water still on this racetrack.
Yeah, you can see it looks like the temperature has dropped a degree. Actually, the track temp's dropped about 5 degrees, so that'll be interesting to see how that affects the drying of the track there, Rich. It might keep it a little wetter, not quite as high track temps.
Yeah, it's a little unusual to see the track temp lower than the air temp, but that's what we've got going on right now at Sebring. And take a look, Chris Lashbrook vigorously trying to warm up those tires without spinning out while doing so.
Yeah, it's a little risky in the wet. Warm up those tires, taking a look. Looks like all of our drivers did start on wet tires, so we don't have any brave souls here, Rich, trying to do it on dry tires.
Chickens.
Still,
chickens. They're all chickens.
Still way too wet for that. Looks like Jacob Cotterman and Joseph Spillman, potentially a pit lane start. Those two drivers did not see the grid, but a couple more corners to go here, and then Chris Lashbrook will lead them to the green flag.
Yeah, it's going to be... I think we're going to see some a little bit of chaos entering turn one, though I did watch them do their practice warm-up, and everybody did reasonably well through the first couple of corners. So we'll see what happens as they come around Sunset bend, just waiting for the pace car to pull off the track, and then Chris Lashbrook will be in controlled field waiting for the green flag.
Yeah, Chris Lashbrook's had a nice back half of the season here the last couple of weeks, Rich. Couldn't go for the three-peat. Marshall Crocker put he kiboshed that last week for him, but here we go. Green flag is out. 29 cars heading into turn number 1 here. So far, it looks like everybody going to be in, and how many are going to come out here, Rich? We see a number of drivers shuffling up and down the standings, but not seeing anybody spinning out here so far into turn 1. Nice start by the entire field, but now can they keep it up through turn 3 and 4?
Yeah, sure they can. Sure they can. I mean, we saw them going 3 wide, and that everybody seemed to taking it a little bit easy right now, which is the smart play as you take out Marshall Crocker Jr. getting real close onto the back of Brandon Anderson, but right now, so far so good. We've negotiated the first 6 corners now of the leaders, and all the leaders kind of lined up nose to tail. They're going a little bit too wide in the back, but man, it's got to be tough to see if you're sitting there back in the mid-pack.
Yeah, this, we got all the Iron Horse Motorsports guys except for Jacob Williams lined up here nose to tail with Crocker Jr., Mavis, and Bronco. But as I say that, Crocker Jr. going to put a car between he and Bronco. Now it's Brandon Anderson. You can see what kind of I guess rainstorm out of the front of Anthony Bronco's car here. Can't see a whole lot in behind Anderson once that spray really starts kicking up, Rich.
No, you certainly can't, and that's as much of the difficulty in running in the rain as is the track conditions is visibility. And right now, the full advantage to Chris Lashbrook because there's no spray in his windshield, no wipers having to even be on, but to everybody behind him suffering the brunt of his endeavors, and that's why you want to qualify up front, folks. As we take a look at the back of Chris Lashbrook, Nathan Fuller in behind him. 2 drivers coming down the Almond Straight. 1 more corner to go. Big Sunset Bend. That's going to be interesting. That bump and twist and off camber and yada, yada, yada in the dampness. We'll see how all these drivers handle it.
How about that qualifying run for Nathan Fuller, too, as well? Started on the outside of the front row, Rich, and looks like he's showing that he belongs there right now, sticking right with Chris Lashbrook, who's been fairly dominant the back half of the season. Right now, ahead of Marshall Crocker Jr., our leader in the pro side of things.
Well, yeah, that's certainly a great qualifying effort. I mean, you're certainly not wrong there. And as I said earlier today, the rain is certainly going to the wetter the track gets, makes it stronger, shows us who the strongest drivers are. And right now, Nathan Fuller's having a decent start, but falling a little bit back, it looks like, since I last looked, unless my timing and scoring's a little messed up here. No, he's still second. My timing and scoring's messed up. Jeez, Rob, you're having your technical difficulties. Now it's my turn, but good thing yours is what matters as we take a look at Nathan Fuller, but a little further back, Alex Jacobson going around here battling with Kyle Mavis. So a nice, good, close battle, side-by-side action. That's awesome.
Yeah, it looks like, oh, Mavis is going to go around. So he collects it up, though. He'll get himself back on track. So I know he was looking to have a strong showing here. This is his home track, he was telling us last week, Rich. So not the way he was hoping his race was going to start. He's down now, it looks like 11 spots as he gets back on track. Moskowitz potentially going to go around him too as well. He is. That's going to put him dash 12. But we know our Pro-Am leader has a ton of pace. I suspect we'll see him quickly move back up through the field, but all the way down into 19th place is Philip Dos Santos going to go by him too as well in the Prancing Horse.
Take a look at Mavis getting back underway, and that is rather unfortunate for Kyle. But here's somebody who hasn't been racing for a few weeks. So Ryder Poe looks like he's out of the penalty box, Rob, and back racing action. Rumor has it he may have been in the penalty box, but got special permission to run in the rain tonight. So welcome back, Ryder.
Now, who put him in the penalty box is the real question, Rich, because I don't think it was league-imposed penalty box, but good to see him back.
I think that was his race sponsor. I think it was his car sponsor there, Rob.
Yeah, a.k.a. Mom and Dad, but good to see Ryder back on track. And we got Matt Mars in the Porsche this week. Looks to move to the inside of Nigel Steely, they're going back and forth. Steely on the outside in the Mustang. Mars with the inside line. But Steely can stay there. He'll have the advantage into turn one. Porsche is good in the corners, but they're not necessarily all that quick in a straight line, where that Mustang is really going to come into its own. And we see Nigel Steely able to hold off Matt Mars. Mars going to try it around the outside though, Rich.
Yeah, Matt Mars getting brave, and I think we talked about this last broadcast. We're taking a look at Matt Mars still trying to work around the outside of Steely, getting by, and wow, great driving there by Matt Mars. We did talk last week about how Mark Nelson was the only one, I believe, driving the Porsche and having a great race, and talking about maybe that might be the car to be driving this week. And so far, Matt Mars making that selection, having some success, as is Nelson. Overall, admin advantage doing a solid job. Oh, that was real close for Alex. Oh, yeah, more than real close. Alex Berger turning around Nigel Steely there, late on the brakes, just a little bit too late, and Steely now having to wait for the whole field to go by.
Yeah, he's going to fall, looks like almost down to the tail end of the field. There's only one car, and behind him now, Aaron Siebens. So unfortunate for him, but Alexander Berger, he was just going to take a say he's hopped into the Porsche this week too as well, just as he got into the back of Nigel Steely. So we'll take a look at that once things settle down here after a lap or two, Rich. But we've had a number of incidents. Looks like Marshall Crocker's flagged for a crash, but looks like he's still in third place. So I'm not sure if maybe that was he just got real slow. Sometimes in these rain races where they really have to get slow into a corner, kind of flags him as a crash. We'll take a look at that as we see Kyle Mavis going to hang in the back end of that Ferrari out. We know he's driving with a little bit of red mist after having that self-imposed spin a lap ago.
Yeah, that's the red mist and the damp track don't often make for a good combination, but on the inset, Chris Lashbrook continuing to hold a lead there, and Lashbrook holding off Fuller, but Fuller definitely seems like rain is his forte.
Yeah, he's doing well right now. Stuck right on the back of Chris Lashbrook, only 3/10 between them, but we're going 3 wide here into Sunset Bend. We got Frith, we got Mavis, and we got Dos Santos. Looks like all 3 of them going to come out here right now, although Mavis going way out to the wall. Frith covers him off. He's going to hold on to that spot, but Mavis quickly trying to get back up to the front where he started here, Rich.
Yeah, Mavis going up the inside right now. So right now, Kyle Mavis getting by Frith and looking for a little bit more. So Mavis down 9 positions. He's back up to 15th, so battling hard in behind. We have Felipe Dos Santos in the Ferrari. So taking a look at Felipe battling now on, trying to get on the back of the Aston of Paxton Frith, the Threshold Performance driver. Just got passed by Mavis, but not looking to lose any more. He's up 3 positions on the day. Felipe Dos Santos in behind him, up 7 positions. Who's up a lot. Jeremy Eshelman in the BMW up ahead. He's up 8 positions, Rob. So great job thus far for Jeremy. Oh, that was getting real close. Matt Mars saying, hey, you may be the series sponsor, but I'm team admin advantage here. Give me a break, man. So side-by-side action we got between Mars and Eshelman. Right in behind them is Ron Matthews. And I see Ron Matthews battling there. And yeah, Kyle Mavis getting right in that mix now as well.
Yeah, Ron Matthews up 1 spot as well from requalified. He's sharing his cam this week, Rich, although he's got the old, we'll have to get him onto the horizontal version. I don't know if that's a cell phone he's got back there. Usually it's a cell phone when it pops up like that. And just going to turn it a little sideways. So we'll see if Ron can get that adjusted for next week. Looks like he's got a heck of a setup there. Looks like triple screens, nice wheel, and looks like a nice racing seat too as well. So I'd be interested to see a little more of a wide angle shot there to see what he's driving with.
Yeah, it's I guess beggars can't be choosers. We got something at least. So take a look here with Timothy Dunn and Alex Berger on the outside. So Dunn on the inside, Berger now tucking it up in behind, makes a little fake that he's going to dive up the inside, but no, too far back is Alex Berger. Many different lines through Sunset Bend here, Rob, but I'm not sure, and they all can work, but I'm not sure how it is in the rain, because it's been a little while since I've had a rain race here at Sebring. But those bumps, man, they're just they can be deadly. But so far, most of the drivers negotiating everything quite successfully up near the front. Nathan Fuller Still in second place, Marshall Crocker Jr. He's up 1 position to third. Behind him, Alex Jacobson's up 3 positions, but we're on board here with Nathan Fuller. This is what Nathan Fuller sees. He sees a windshield wiper. He sees some rain when he gets up close behind Chris Lashbrook, but not too bad overall. It looks like the track may be drying just a little bit, and Nathan Fuller, he's got the rain shades on in real life. If you take a look there, Rob, so that rain's not getting in his face.
Yeah, that's right. He needs a set of wipers for his VR goggles though too as well, Rich. You don't want to get them all wet. But it looks like Marshall Crocker Jr. has caught up to this battle too as well. So we got 3 Mustangs leading the way here at Sebring. The Mustang generally not a great car in the rain, but you know what? It really stretches his legs out on the straights. So I guess what you can make up for not being as quick in the corner in the rain, you can really utilize on the multiple straights here at Sebring, as they're doing right now. Alex Jacobson is our first non-Mustang in the top 5, and then Anthony Barranco, the gridseat.co driver, actually is the owner of the league too as well, gridseat.co. You'll see them coming up Fridays here next season on Racers Nexus. You can actually earn yourself a seat into real life racing through that series. So Friday evenings you can catch that action here. If you're interested in racing in that series, you can find the link in our Discord, and our Discord you will find in the description of the video for FMA, for Racers Nexus, and you'll find Grid Seat Go in there too as well, Rich.
That's a whole lot of information, but yeah, that's great when you get a chance to really race a car just because of your results in sim racing. We've seen that in other leagues, some other leagues I participate in, so kudos there to Barranco. As we take a look at Mark Nelson, team admin advantage in 8th place right now. That's where he started, having himself a solid effort. Mark Nelson, he was commenting, I noticed, it might have been last week or the week before, that he had some great battles. He didn't get a lot of track time, but he's getting some TV time here today, because he's right in the mix now with Ryder Poe just up ahead of him, Brandon Anderson in behind him. So Anderson down 6 positions, Poe up 5 positions, getting out of the penalty box and getting the job done. Yeah,
well, no, Mark Nelson was involved in the battle at the end last week, wasn't he, Rich?
Right,
he got lots of TV time. Yeah. You're selling him short.
Yeah, well, no, he was saying, we were saying nice things about him, which we are, because Mark, you're doing well, man, and that's not discounting anything at all. But up in the inset, Chris Lashbrook having himself a solid battle with Nathan Fuller and Marshall Crocker Jr. These 3 drivers kind of broken away from the rest of the field. They're about 5 seconds up the road, and getting real close. I think Nathan Fuller's a rain specialist. He's probably wishing for rain races every week.
Yeah, he might take and try and buy out all the races on the schedule next season, Rich, just to put rain races on every single one. They'll have their own FMA Rainmaster series here. But, oh no, Chris Lashbrook's around, our leader. Pole sitter and leader, he's around. Crocker Jr. and Fuller are going to get by. I think he's got enough buffer over Alex Jacobson to hold on to that spot, but Chris Lashbrook now down to 3rd. Now the rabbit has become the dog here, Rich.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Lashbrook, but I mean, maybe he was looking a little too well. Let's take a look and see what happened exactly here. We've got Rob pushing the buttons and pushing them, rewind and play, and no, it doesn't look like Fuller got into him. Just the back end came around in that Mustang, and Nathan Fuller says, okay, I'll take first. Now they're going side-by-side action down the Almond Straight. I believe here we are, yes. Going into Sunset, Crocker Jr. on the inside, Fuller around the outside. Both trying both lines. Now Fuller going to try the crossover. Is he going to be able to get it done? That's going to set Crocker Jr. up the inside. Oh, this is great battling here. Rob, I'm most impressed with this, but Marshall Crocker Jr. up to point now. Now it's Fuller. He's got to tuck it in behind because, unfortunate for him, that is Fuller tucking into second. He had the lead for a minute, but not for too long. Marshall Crocker Jr. taking full advantage of Chris Lashbrook's issue.
Yeah, Fuller started second, was able to, late dive by Nathan Fuller. Oh no, he missed his braking marker. He's going to go off track, keeps it off the wall, but that's going to give Chris Lashbrook the opportunity. Oh, Alex Jacobson misses in the same corner too as well. He goes off into the grass, so that corner.
Taking these track conditions, yeah, it's getting a little wetter, I think.
Struggle bus for a couple of drivers there. It looks like the rain is starting to fall again here, Rich. So we had some sun peek out at the start of the race, but looks like the rain has come back here, and Jacobson's struggling, Fuller struggling, Lashbrook's had his struggles. The only one who hasn't struggled in our top 5 right now has been Marshall Crocker Jr.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to say anything because I'm the kiss of death, folks. That's my job here. So Marshall Crocker Jr. up in the lead. He's got 3.5 seconds over Nathan Fuller. So Fuller, despite that off-track excursion, he managed to do it in the right spot where there was that runoff lane that he get right back and going. But Chris Lashbrook managing to close right back down now. He's only less than 2 seconds behind. And that lets Anthony Barranco close down a little bit. But right now, Marshall Crocker Jr., 3.5 second gap. And kind of liking that, although I know he really likes to get in the mix. And everybody likes to win, but it's always nicer to win when it's a hard-fought victory, tooth and nail all over the end. But down here in 8th place, we got Mark Nelson continuing this battle with Ryder Pro. And now we can see how much more rain is picked up and how wet the track is getting. Like this is from the hood view, folks. Wait, I mean, imagine sitting down another 1.5 to 2 feet as you come through Sunset. Look at the puddling here. Just keeping all 4 tires pointing in the correct direction is an achievement in itself, let alone at the speeds these drivers are going. But yeah, this view really shows you what Mark Nelson can't see, which isn't a whole lot, especially gets real close here behind Ryder Poe. It's a matter of really knowing your braking markers and how lightly or heavily you can apply the brakes. Lots of practice going on by these drivers. A little further up the field, Chase Matsko just ahead of Ryder Poe. Chase Matsko, Ryder Poe, Mark Nelson, all 3 of these drivers all battling close for 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Yeah, it looks like Berger and Dos Santos battling here right now. Dos Santos on the outside, not able to make that move stick, but it looks like Poe and Nelson's got up to the back of Matsko. Matsko was a little bit ahead of them, Rich, but now he's right into that battle. The McLaren, oh, Poe going to go wide. I thought he was going to go out in the grass. He was able to get it collected up just before that grass caught him. But now Brandon Anderson right onto the back of this battle too as well, Rich. So we got a battle for 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. And they're all in the pro class here too as well. So overall in pro class battle here amongst these drivers.
Yeah, you know what, Rob? This is not what I expected, to be honest with you. I mean, I knew we'd have some battling, but I thought cars would be spread out a lot more than they are, and this is very, very entertaining. Sebring is always an entertaining track to watch, but put it in the rain with good close battling this deep. I mean, we're on lap 8. We're 18 minutes into. We're going to go about 20 laps today, and wow, just great race action as we take a look at in behind Matsko. Ryder Poe, the car getting a little squirrely, that Ferrari, but Poe gathers it back up. And Mark Nelson in behind him, Brandon Anderson in behind him. So 4 cars all looking for that 1 or 2 positions, but right now Chase Matsko got himself about a 2nd gap.
Yeah, and if we know anything about Mark Nelson over watching him this series and the series past, is he isn't an aggressive driver. He'll just kind of sit there, bide his time, look for a mistake from Poe and try and pounce on that opportunity at that point in time. And then we see there Poe going real tight up against the wall where the puddles are. The Ferrari is kind of skating around through that corner. They have to collect the back end up a little bit. Mark Nelson not able to take advantage, but Ryder Poe gonna have to watch that. You're gonna watch those puddles here, Rich. That's one thing about Sebring. We were talking about it earlier, Sebring in the rain, where it's a bumpy track, so you get puddles kind of sitting down into those bumps, and you may not actually realize it when you come around a corner in hydroplane. And next thing you know, you're spinning around or missing your brake marker and going off track, as we've seen happen to a number of drivers so far.
Yeah, it reminds me of my trip to Montreal, my drive to Montreal and back last week, Rob. It was raining cats and dogs, hydroplaning, but I had the rain tires on, so we were all safe. Got back for this race, folks, and wow, right, Ryder Poe. This has been a great battle for multiple laps now. Mark Nelson, Ryder Poe. Whoa! Nelson getting real close. Has to go right out to the outside to avoid hitting Poe, and they're going to snake it around once again. But Ryder Poe continuing to hold off Mark Nelson. I wonder how many more laps these guys can battle like this, but at some point, somebody's got to come in for fuel. Right now, we still got a bunch of time left, and nobody's really making their scheduled pit stops as of yet that I can see, but that's going to happen sooner or later.
Yeah, it'd be one of those strategy moments. Maybe you try and come in earlier if you're battling with a car on track and you can't quite find a way around them. That might be something that Mark Nelson looks at as we back on board here with Chris Lashbrook, who he's gotten back around Nathan Fuller to take back second spot. But unfortunately, from all their incidents here, it's dropped them about 5 seconds back of our leader, Marshall Crockers Jr., who just kind of has it on cruise control here right now, Rich. And that Mustang, you see him heading down into Sunset Bend. You just kind of see the puddling there. It's hard to really pick a line that you're not going through puddles through that corner. So it's a high-speed corner and a whole lot of puddles. The drivers really have to be weary through that section. They don't hit something in hydroplane. It's those outside walls come up real quick.
Well, that they do, Rob. And Marshall Crocker Jr. Continuing to hold the lead here, which is been a great effort by Marshall. He's demonstrated pace in the dry. Now he's demonstrating pace in the wet. But on the inset, we're going to go a little further back in the field. 17th position, we got Curtis Kinnicker. So Curtis Kinnicker, the Canadian driver, having himself his battle with it looks like Cody Deek just up ahead. PJ Wentline in behind. So Curtis Kinnicker up 4 positions. PJ Wentline up 8 positions. You know, a lot of rain races is about attrition and survival. Take a look at Brandon Anderson in the Mustang getting a little bit squirrely, but hey, that's what Mustangs do. They thrive on that kind of driving style. So right now, Brandon Anderson is trying to catch up to Mark Nelson. Ryder Poe, that battle's kind of calmed down a little bit for now, but never say never as we take a look at Cody Deek. Cody Deek following behind Adam Lowe, going into turn 1. In behind them, Curtis Kinnicker is starting to claw back up to them as well. So, man, great race action all the way up and down the field. This is tremendous. Basically almost halfway through this 45-minute race here at Sebring.
Yeah, other than our leader being about 7 seconds ahead of second place, Lashbrook, the rest of the field, for the most part, Rich, only separated by about 1 second to 2 seconds from the driver either ahead of them or behind them. So plenty of cars still to battle on track as we see this battle here. Ooh, Cody Deek, car getting squirrely heading into the brakes section there. He's able to get it slowed up. That's one of the other things here too as well, as you run a lot of rear brake bias in the rain, and sometimes that gets the rear end of the car squirrely under braking.
Yeah, it certainly can do that. You want to equalize as close as possible. But Adam Lowe going a little deep. We've seen people go deep. Hopefully, gets it back on track. So going to cost him a couple positions, though. Unfortunate for Adam Lowe, losing a couple spots there. But this battle with Ryder Poe and Mark Nelson just continues and continues. Ryder Poe managing to hold up Nelson. Nelson looking left, looking right. Look at the puddles. This is just insane. And in behind them, Brandon Anderson tucking it up close now as well. So you're definitely trying different lines now in the rain than you would normally try in the dry, or at least most drivers, because you want to avoid those puddles, but you can't turn in them, you can't brake in them. And going up the inside here, we got Brandon Anderson going up the inside. Outside is Mark Nelson. It's going to bring them up a little bit closer. That tucks Anderson real close, but not quite close enough to get a move done. But wow, getting real close is Anderson. Ryder Poe liking the battle of going up behind him because that buys him a couple of tenths. But that was then, and this is now. Mark Nelson's dispatched Anderson for the time being. Now he's got his set sight on Ryder Poe once again.
Yeah, it looked like a little bit of a block there from Poe on the Almond Straight. We saw him dart right out to the right in front of Mark Nelson as Nelson moved to the right to try and make a move around him. So we'll see if maybe the stewards review that later on after the race, Rich. But this battle has been going on for, what do we got? We're about 22 and a half, 23 minutes into this race. I think about 18 of those minutes, these three cars have been nose to tail on track.
Which is great. That's great race action. I mean, I was kind of hoping for some chaos. I was kind of calling for it in the I guess the pre-race show, so to speak. I'm not disappointed we haven't had chaos. We've had some great battling, and this has been the battle of the race thus far between these three drivers, Ryder Poe and now Mark Nelson, Brandon Anderson. Brandon Anderson falling back off just a little bit, but I'm sure that'll close back up, as has happened time and time again. Oh, Nelson gets into the back. He got the iRacing spin, as you say, Rob, and unfortunate for him, that's just taking the front bumper cover off the car of Mark Nelson. Fortunately, one faster pair is available.
Let's take another look here and see what happened. As you mentioned, it looked like he just tapped the rear bumper of Ryder Poe, and around he went. Unfortunately, Brandon Anderson unable to get the brakes locked up quick enough into the rain, tags him, and then looks like Matt Mars sneaks his way through too as well. I think Kyle Mavis and Timothy Dunn might got around Nelson too as well. It looks like that car ill handling, but luckily for him, he's not too far from pit lane entry as well. He's still struggling to get it back there, Rich. I'm surprised the car's driving that bad. It looked like he got hit all that hard by Brandon Anderson, but it looks like it is a handful right now for Mark Nelson.
Yeah, I think he definitely has some front right suspension damage causing those issues, but wow. That's an unfortunate end to that great battle, and that's going to set him back tremendously as we take a look. Well, we take a look at a replay here of Brandon Anderson on board and see what Brandon Anderson saw coming through. About to enter the Almond Straight, he sees the car, he gets on the brakes hard, tries to get stopped, and then trying to get by, just a little tap on the bumper, but it may have hit the wheel and just thrown the toe out considerably or something. Maybe popped a ball joint. I'm not sure what happened there.
He popped to something, Rich. I don't know if it was a ball joint or not. We'll see if Mark Nelson can get that car back out on track, as I believe he is into the pits here now. Oh, yeah, I think he's just towed into the pits, so he's unable to drive it back. So that's unfortunately rough for him. But what started out as a promising race for Mark Nelson, going to go by the wayside. We'll see if he can regroup for Mount Panorama next week. It's back-to-back tough races here to end the season, Rich. Sebring in the rain, and then we head to the tight confines of Bathurst to wrap up the season.
You know, I mean, some people excel at rain racing, and some people just don't have that experience. And Nathan Fuller, obviously, kind of seems to be his forte, and Bathurst is another one of those tracks. Some people do really, really well there, and some people it's just it's the devil to them. But I know Chris Lashbrook's looking forward to it. Oh, was it Mark Ozzie getting the back end a little squirrely in that Harrods McLaren, gathers it back up, but gets it going once again. Didn't really lose any positions, but wow, great start here for Ozzie, sitting in 18th place right now, up 7 positions with Jacob Williams in behind him, but going real deep on this corner. You can get away with going deep once, you can get away with going deep twice, but third time lucky for Jacob Williams.
Yeah, Jacob Williams came in leading the AM class. He's well back in class right now, Rich, sitting 5th in class, 18th overall. But luckily for him, his main championship contenders, Alexander Berger, and I'm trying to see where Cody Deek is. Well, Cody Deek's actually ahead of him, but he's just lost a spot to Brandon Anderson, and Alexander Berger is only a couple spots ahead of him. So not going to lose a whole lot of points if they end up finishing this way, Rich. So it'll be interesting to see how it heads into Bathurst, see if Jacob Williams can take the win. He's been dominant to start the season, and we'll see if he can wrap things up. It'd be nice to see him come home victorious.
Oh, it certainly would. It's been a solid season, like I said. Once sometimes you just got to get going and get that victory, and then once you get the one victory, things snowball. But take a look here, Jeremy Ashleman sitting in 13th place. Jeremy right now, kind of a man on his own, the Threshold Motorsports driver in the BMW, and is he the lone BMW? I believe he may be. Yes, he is.
Yes, yeah. We've got so many Porsches here this evening, Rich. But look at our top Porsche driver right now. He still owes us a pit stop, but Matt Mars up 6 spots into 4th place. We've seen him do well in the rain in the past. I'm trying to remember. I think he told me earlier today, I think last season it was at Silverstone was the rain race. He was doing well, was up at the front, the sharp end of the field, up solidly in the top 5, and had a spin right near the very end of the race. So he's looking not to do that here again at Sebring, but looks like the Porsche working out well here for Matt Mars. is he's got Ryder Poe just up ahead of him, only 1.9 seconds up the track, and that would be get him into the overall podium position.
Yeah, that would be quite the accomplishment. Take a look here. Oh man, this battle is just going on and on. Is Matt Mars or Ryder Poe, and looks like Marshall Crocker Jr. has come in for his pit stop. So everybody else coming in now. Matt Mars is in, Ryder Poe's in. We got a whole bunch of drivers I think we're going to see on pit road in the next minute or so once they get down pit lane.
Yeah, it looks like these were the last drivers we were waiting for. I think Philip Dos Santos and Mark Ossier might be the final ones. That's going to give the lead back to Marshall Crocker Jr. as he passes those drivers, heads into turn 3 here now. Chris Lashbrook going to take back over second place, 1.2 seconds ahead of Nathan Fuller. But look at Alex Jacobson really closing the gap here now, Rich. He's only just under 2 seconds back of that battle for second place.
Yeah, that's a solid race he's had thus far. Right now, you know, fourth place, Fuller up ahead, 2 seconds down with 6 laps to go, 14.5 minutes. That's very doable, especially when you've got rain out there, because you can make up multiple tenths on a corner, not just you know, a tenth here, pick up a few hundreds there. Alex Jacobson on the hunt.
Yeah, a little slower corner there for him. Looks like he thought he was going to lose the car, had to really back off and collect it up. So that's going to put him a couple more tenths back from where he was. But looks like after the pit stops here, it's kind of broken up a lot of the battles that we had before the pit stop session. But we got one here right now between Alexander Berger and Philip Dos Santos. We saw Berger get into a little bit of a calamity earlier as he tapped the Mustang of, I'm trying to remember who that was, Nigel Steele, spun him around. Berger's been battling ever since, but he has the number 07 of Felipe Dos Santos right on his rear bumper. Dos Santos up 10 spots from where he started here, Rich. Started back in 24th place, got himself up into 14th, so nice run there for Felipe Dos Santos.
I'll say, I take that. I mean, what else can you say? I mean, up 14 positions, and that wasn't all through other drivers having other drivers' misfortunes. That's been a lot of solid driving from Felipe Dos Santos. But Alexander Berger is where he started. Alexander Berger right now, first place, and wow, Dos Santos really throwing that Ferrari in there. I was surprised it rotated that well without over-rotating, but Berger, he's quite comfortable in that Porsche and doing a good job.
Yeah, it looks like he was able to get the damage fixed up if he had any from that confrontation with Steele, and he's back on track. So we'll see if this battle kind of calms down a little bit, and I'll go back, and we haven't looked at the instance that I said we were going to go back and look at from the start of the race. I got involved in some other on-track battles here, Rich, and we never got back to it. So we'll take a look at those here once this settles down a little bit. It looks like Dos Santos potentially going to make a move into Sunset through the outside, although the car getting a little squirrely. We see there's pure concentration on Alexander Berger's face on his webcam shared in the corner.
Yeah, serious concentration by Alex, and right now doing a good job holding off Felipe Dos Santos. This has been an ongoing battle for the better part of this race. 33 minutes into it, and it looks like they're going to keep battling lap after lap and continue to go on. So right now, this is really about the closest battle on track.
Yeah, we got a couple other battles that are about equally as close. I guess Nigel Steele and Ron Matthews, they're battling it out here. Or sorry, that's Aaron Siemens, pardon me, and Nigel Steele battling it out. Siemens in the Porsche, the Warped Esports driver, and then Nigel Steele in the Mustang, driving a similar paint scheme that we see on the Iron Horse Motorsports. I did again last week, did again this week, Rich. I always want to say Iron Motorsports Horse for some reason. But anyways, he's running.
Yeah, well, that's what they're called now.
Similar paint scheme to our leader, Marshall Crocker Jr., who's now solidly into the back of lap traffic here as we're getting near the 10-minute to go mark.
Yeah, we looked at Marshall getting by Mark Ossier, who graciously moved over. Mark, now he's in 26th place, so Next up for Marshall Crocker Jr. will be Mark Nelson. So Mark Nelson, who was right in the mix earlier until he had that little spin there entering the Almond Straight. Rather unfortunate for Mark. So Mark Nelson up ahead next for Marshall Crocker Jr.
And Crocker Jr. just took the fastest lap of the race that time by with a 2:11.88. It was previously held by Nathan Fuller at 2:13.33 was his, 2:12.29 was his best time. So it looks like the track drying out a little bit here, Rich. The time's starting to come down. We'll see if that's going to affect any of the battles we have going on through the field. But speaking of battles, Matt Mars now in behind Brandon Anderson. He's come in to complete his stop, so that cycled him back to 8th place. But looking like he wants to try to take that spot away from Anderson in 7th place. But let's take a quick look here and at some of the incidents that started the race off as, well, it looks like Mars is going to stay behind there. But Kyle Mavis was one of our first drivers to have an incident here as he went sliding off to the right, the left, and then he comes back to the right, spins around, loses a ton of spots, was able to keep it off the wall, but not the way he wanted the race to start for the Florida native. Looks like Curtis Kinnicker had a similar incident too as well in the McLaren. Looks like it's going to be almost a carbon copy of what happened to Kyle Mavis. You go out wide, try and collect it up, and no, he's going to keep it on track. I thought he was going to spin too as well. And then I mentioned it looks like Marshall Crocker was flagged for a crash, but I'm not sure what happened here. Let's see what happened to him, Rich, to throw the crash. He might have just missed the corner, missed the brake mark. Oh, he did. Similar to what we saw happen to Jacobson and Fuller, but luckily for Crocker Jr., he was able to stay on the black stuff, get out in the green, and it's tough to slow down.
I was going to say that's the way I normally take that corner. That if that's a crash by Marshall Crocker Jr. standard, I got a ways to go because, or maybe I just drive like the current series champion or leader and take a look at Ron Matthews. Whoa, on this replay, a little bit of a calamity going on, a little bit of a stack up there with the car on the infield.
I think that was Nigel Steely that was off on the infield there. Let's take a look at him. This is the incident with he and Berger. So Berger just gave the tag on the right-hand side. Around he went, and then that's when the rest of the cars came through. And it looks like Michael Lemanchik going to be our final driver that's flagged for a crash with a couple other solo spins here. But let's see what happened to him. Coming in with a ton of speed in that Mustang. Looks to the inside of the Porsche. Oh, they were able to get it slowed up. Because I wonder if they were starting to get a little worried with Nigel Steely sitting on the side there. You see the relative with the car just kind of stopped. You're wondering, maybe he's going to pop back out in front of me. Maybe he's not. But this battle between Mars and Anderson continues on.
Yeah, I think that may have been what happened there. But yeah, Matt Mars, 8th place right now. Continuing to fall along behind Brandon Anderson. Gap is at 1.2 seconds right now. So Mars a little bit of work to do if he wants to get 7th place. But overall, right now, Matt Mars is 3rd in class and having himself a decent effort.
Looks like something might have happened to Nathan Fuller. He lost 3rd place to Jacobson here. Oh, the back end is going to kick around on him. Oof. Whoa, nice evasive maneuver there by Jacobson, able to get around him, but looks like Fuller going to get back on track into 4th place. So our 2nd place qualifier going to fall back into 4th place. We'll see if he has time to try and reel back in Jacobson to get that podium position, but he's still going to be our top Pro-Am driver, sitting 5 seconds up a 2nd place in class, Anthony Barranco.
Yeah, that's you know, I'm sure he's not thrilled that he's lost his 2nd place and 1st place that he held earlier, but 1st in class is still 1st in class. Take a look here at Chase Matsko, a replay of the advantage driver, and yeah, we've seen that a few times. And oh, a big spin, and oh, nice save there in the McLaren. Thought that was going to come right around, but managed just to get it gathered back up, and so far hadn't lost a position, although definitely losing some momentum out of that corner.
Oh, speaking of losing position, Ryder Poe got squirrely through the left-right combo before heading onto the Almond Straight. That's going to compromise his exit speed there. We'll see if Anderson and Mars able to make a move on Poe here. Poe going to be down a couple mile an hour. Not sure if Anderson going to get enough of a run here to make a move. He's got the nose up on the inside here. It's going to be a battle of the late breakers in the wet conditions. Anderson really late onto the binders, tries to go wide, going to late apex it in to the corner. Going to try and set him up for a run into turn 1 now, but looks like Poe's been able to recover from that almost spin.
Yeah, it's Ryder Poe doing a solid job of driving and keeping Anderson and Mars behind him in spite of that a little bit of a slip up. But right now, Anderson really on the hunt. Mars loving what he's seeing up ahead. He's like, hey, I was right up in there, and I want to get right back there ahead of you, Brandon. Right now, sometimes sitting there third in the catbird seat is the place to be, but Ryder Poe doing a good job of holding the two driver back. Look at how close Matt Mars is going. You can tell the track's drying up a little bit, or maybe you don't get that spray if you're so close that the spray doesn't have a chance to get up to the windshield.
I think he's seeing a ton of spray here, Rich. He's got the old window wipers flashing away there, but unfortunately, it looks like he's unable to make a move. I think this might be as far as Matt Mars could get, as looks like time's starting to be his nemesis right now. Tucked in behind Anderson and Poe. We know that they're talented drivers here, Rich. Both of them sitting in the pro class. They've done well all season. Anderson just under a 3,000 iRating driver. Poe just above 3,000 iRating drivers. So accomplished drivers here as far as it goes in the league, and it's going to take a mistake from the two of them or a real send here for Matt Mars to get around.
Yeah, Matt Mars with a 2100 iRating, but I don't necessarily believe that, Rob, because Matt Mars spends so much time racing in leagues. I don't think he has time to race in officials, and you only get iRating or lose iRating by running in official races. And Matt Mars certainly, we broadcast him Monday, we broadcast him Tuesday. I think he races Thursday, and part of Admin Advantage. And look at this. Whoa. Brandon Anderson, that Mustang, getting a little bit squirrely on corner exit. Matt Mars tucking in behind, but this straight's long, but not long enough to close it down. Having to pull out to get out of the draft just so he can see is Matt Mars.
Yeah, they come across the line to finish up their lap 18 and start lap 19. Looks like Poe starting to pull away from those two drivers. Marshall Crocker Jr., our leader, making his way around the 86 of Mark Nelson, who's now fallen a lap down on the field, back in 25th place. So unfortunate race for him. Looks like he was shaping up to have a nice finish. We talked to Mark last week. Great guy, Rich, and really kind of gutted for him that that happened.
Yeah, definitely. It was a race that should have, could have. Whoa, is Alex Jacobson around? Yes, Alex Jacobson. Having a with that was that Kyle Mavis, or was that no, that wasn't Kyle Mavis. That was Marc Ossier getting a lap back from Alex Jacobson, who had a little bit of a spin there, it looks like.
Yeah, let's take a look and see what happened to him, as Nathan Fuller definitely got by, but Jacobson getting himself back on track. But I think it's just going to be another one of these solo spins. Rich, we've seen a number of drivers do it in this exact same corner. Backs it up off track, waits for Fuller to go by before he starts getting back on, waits for Ossier, the lap car too as well. But as they come back in right in front of Anthony Barranco, the second place driver in Pro-Am class. So Barranco now getting ever so closer to Fuller, but with only 2.5 minutes to go here, Rich, I don't think he's going to have enough time to reel it in to potentially take the win in class.
No, it's going to be a little bit of a difficult situation to try and get that done. But stranger things have happened. Lots of pooling of rain here, lots of puddling of water, I should say. And Jacobson right now, with Barranco in behind him, Marc Ossier up ahead of them. So Marc Ossier, the gentleman racer, will move out of the way when the time comes. He's already done it once for Jacobson, but Jacobson tried to put a little distance between himself and Anthony Barranco.
Our leader has picked up the white flag. These drivers pick it up this time by, so one more lap for Jacobson and Barranco. I'm not sure if Barranco is going to be close to make the move, but let's pop back here as Brandon Anderson has caught up to Ryder Poe. Poe looked like he was starting to run away from Mars and Anderson, but they've reeled him in here on the back straight, and Anderson looking to the outside, going to try the long way around, or could he potentially be setting him up here for a switchback, Rich?
Well, anything's possible, but right now, Ryder Poe going in deep, keeping it tucked up tight, going to swing it out wide, but so is Brandon Anderson. Matt Mars chomping at the bit and behind in the Porsche. So, and these three drivers, they've been battling here for about, I'm guesstimating 44 minutes thus far, folks. And Ryder Poe continue to hold off Anderson and Mars. Mars trying to get that one position back, maybe two if he can. Now we've got Marc Ossier up ahead. He's trying to get out of the way. Kind of hard to do so. Yeah, he's doing a great job actually. Tucking it up on the left side, letting these drivers mix it up. But Ryder Poe just got a couple of tenths gain there. And coming around here, Poe always seems to get a little bit loose there in the Ferrari when he's coming through that section. That lets Anderson close right back up, and Mars falling behind. But Anderson got a great run now. He's going to take it up the outside. Poe setting up the car right in the middle, not letting him go around the outside. And that lets Mars close the break up. Oh, Poe's around. Mars is getting into the back of Anderson. Little damage to Matt Mars' car, I think, but Brandon Anderson gets that position after the spin by Poe.
Our leader into the final corner, Marshall Crocker Jr. taking advantage of mistakes from Lashbrook and Fuller. He's going to come across the line. He will take round 11 of 12. He'll head into the championship round with a commanding lead. Next week at Bathurst, Chris Lashbrook, our pole sitter, had a couple incidents. He's going to come home second place. Probably was really hoping for that top spot here, Rich, but he's going to be a second place winner here tonight. And Nathan Fuller started on the outside of the front row, had an incident, got himself down into fourth, worked his way back. He's going to take the Pro-Am Championship here tonight. I'm excited there on the webcam.
Yes, Nathan.
Congrats to Nathan Fuller. Alex Jacobson going to come home in third spot in class. Anthony Barranco going to come home in second. And then let's go back here to Brandon Anderson and Matt Mars. Mars going to finish up third in Pro-Am class, but he really wants that spot ahead of Anderson. Anderson going to hold on to it. Matt Mars going to have to settle for the final podium spot in class. Kyle Mavis worked his way back to fourth place in class eighth overall. Nice run for him. But let's go back to the M class where Philip DeSantos got around Alexander Berter. He's going to come across the line to take that win. Only 1.1 seconds ahead of Alexander Berter here in second place. And then looks like Nigel Steele, he's going to recover after that spin with Berter here into 15th place overall, third in class, Rich.
Yeah, Steele having that issue with Berter early on. I love seeing the driver webcams when they cross the start-finish line. You see who's happy, who's not. Berter definitely upset. You could see him, it looked like he may have been cursing out loud, or because it definitely wasn't his mind. Take a PJ Wentline. Hey, this race ain't over, folks. We're giving it a go, but PJ Wentline coming across in 19th place.
And Curtis Kinneker out of the final corner. The FR Racing driver to the line. He's going to finish up where he qualified in 21st place. Up and down race for him. Aaron Siemens now into the final corner. We're just waiting for Siemens, and I believe Lemanchek will be the final car. And then this one should be official, Rich.
It should be. Well, after the stewards get their say, but the unofficial results we'll have anyways momentarily. Take a look at Michael Lemanchek coming across and finishing off 23rd place. And Marshall Crocker Jr. always leaves lots of gas. Is he gonna back up around Sebring in the rain? Yes, he is, folks. That was one of his most impressive turns to go backwards, but had a little help from the damp track. You know, the Mustang actually. It probably drives a little straighter in reverse. Front wheel drive, baby.
It's used to going into the crowds backwards and sideways anyways, Rich. But let's take a look at our final results here to wrap up the race. Let's start with the pro class, where we saw Marshall Crocker Jr., our winner, doing his celebratory backwards lap. Marshall Crocker Jr. takes the win just ahead of Chris Lashbrook. Well, they just had 16 seconds ahead of Chris Lashbrook. Alex Jacobson going to come home in third, with Brandon Anderson in fourth. Ryder Poe going to have to settle for fifth after that spin on the last lap. Chase Matsko in sixth, with Mark Nelson coming home in seventh. Yeah,
in a Pro-Am, we have a Nathan Fuller who race winner, looking for a little bit more, but third place overall, not too shabby at all. Second place, Anthony Barranco. Matt Mars, third. In fourth place, Kyle Mavis. Jeremy Ashman, fifth. Timothy Dunn, sixth. Paxton for seventh. And Jacob Cotterman, I don't believe he took the start, and if he did, it didn't go well.
Yeah, I don't believe he took the start. He was one of the drivers I thought was going to take the pit start. He wasn't on the grid, and I don't think we ever seen him come out. But over in AM class, Felipe Dos Santos takes the win ahead of Alexander Berger by 1.2 seconds. Nigel Steele going to come home in third place with Ron Matthews in fourth and Jacob Williams rounding out the top five. PJ Wentline and Cody Deek in sixth and seventh with Curtis Kinnicker and Aaron Siemens in ninth and ninth. And then round out the top 10 is Michael Lemanchek. Moskowitz, Ossier, Lowe, and Spillman going to round out the field of our AM drivers here this evening, Rich. So it looks like we have a whole full waiting room here, Rich. I think we got half the field in the waiting room waiting to have a chat with our very own Richard Swindells.
Oh, they all want to talk to you or me or both, but who's going to get stuck with me first, Rob?
Well, let's bring in our race winner here, Marshall Crocker Jr., to catch up with Mr. Richard Swindells.
Hey, Marshall, congratulations. That was your best spin around to go in reverse at the end of a race I've seen yet.
Thank you. The rest of the lap has been quite scruffy. My God, these tires got nothing left on them, and when you run the brake bias and weird for the wet, this is tough. We got to find a way to get one of these backwards races live broadcasted, because man, it is fun trying to do this. I see what Toe Mater was on about 20 years ago.
Oh, well, we took the camera off. We didn't see if you completed your lap, but certainly had enough fuel. That was an interesting race. Lashbrook, Fuller, you early on, and once once you got out front, you started kind of walking away once Fuller and Lashbrook kind of succumbed to their issues.
Yeah, no, it always is obviously a marathon here in these rain races. It's the same way that I feel like I had a lot of success last year at Silverstone in the wet race. Just, it's all about how you coax your tires at the beginning, and the thing everybody forgets to do is to cool the tires down once the track kind of gets hot. So I was using the puddles here and there. I was trying to keep the tires in a good window, and by the end, I think I probably had 10% on every tire over anybody in the field, and that's what kind of helped pump in those laps at the end. I was kind of hoping that would be the fun dynamic, because when I had the bad qualifying, as seems to be a weekly occurrence, I kind of thought I'd have trouble getting through the field. I thought Chris might break away a little bit up front, and then the race might come down to me making that gap up on the in the hot part of the session. But no, I mean, Fuller held them honest. I mean, a career day for Nathan Fuller today. He held them honest every step of the way, and as a result, he never really broke away. I was right there to capitalize, and yeah, it really sucks that both guys had their own little spin. I was amazed Chris had his moment there. I don't know if he and Nathan had contact, but yeah, kind of disappointing, just like last year. Last year it was Jacobson. This year was I think Chris probably had the pace in the wet and just didn't come together.
Yeah, it's going by memory. There was no contact there. Those were self spins, but there you go, folks. That's words of wisdom from Marshall Crocker Jr. on wet weather racing. Cool your tires. So that's something I've got to take note of and write that down for my next rain race. Marshall, next week we finish the season off at Bathurst. Are you going to qualify a little closer to the front? Because that can be a tough track to pass on.
Oh, am I going to qualify, Rich? Have you watched my races? No, I'm going to come 8th. It's going to be ugly. I'm going to have an off track up for the race. But no, it's going to be awesome. I can't wait for Bathurst. I've owned it for years. I run it in time trial events. I've never had a competitive, like a league that I run in, ever run it. Like, I've never had the opportunity. So
oh, wow.
I think it's going to be a pretty awesome finale. I think, with Jacobson, I had a better run here today, but I think I'm going to be in a pretty comfortable point spot. So for me, it's going to be keeping it a little bit clean. But for the most part, we got one Australian in the league. I know he's chomping at the bit to get going. Something about the Mustang too, right? It even looks like a V8 supercar. I think me and Chris are going to have a heck of a battle next week, and I hope I just qualify. It doesn't need to be pole, just far up enough that I don't need to have a comeback David versus Goliath race every single week.
Well, yeah, Bathurst always makes for an interesting series finale to the season, and Rob and I have been teammates in leagues racing together on the series finale at Bathurst, so we're well versed in that. Marshall, welcome to the club. We're looking forward to seeing what you can do next week. Let's hear some shout-outs or thanks if you have any for this evening.
Well, I'm going to ask you a question, Rich. What color is the suit for next week's awards ceremony?
Oh, well, well, gee, that's a lot of pressure. I'm going to have to go out shopping this week, I guess. Might have to rent a tux.
Beautiful. Again, on Rob's dime. This is what Rob's here for, all right? This is what the extra rainy day fund is for. But no, just quick. Shout out to Alyssa if she's watching. Shout out to the boys. Obviously, one more week. They did what they had to do today for the titles, and we're getting the brooms out. I said to polish the brooms up. We're going to go for the clean sweep in every individual title in the teams next week. And That's it. I mean, the admins have done a great job. Really excited for the awards. And I'll do one final shout out. All the drivers, we don't even get consistently 32 guys in a race every week. We got 32 full ballots submitted for the awards next week, and that's really cool. So looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing the beautiful snazzy outfit on you, Rich. And in the meantime, we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks a lot, Marshall.
That was our race winner, Marshall Crocker Jr., with kind of goading our Richard Swindell. We'll see if Rich pulls out the old 5-piece suit, the old polyester baby blue suit, and gets it ready for the broadcast next week. But let's see who else we got in here. We've got, let's bring in our second place finisher, Chris Lashbrook, the man who started on pole, was looking promising early on. Chris, talk us through the conditions out there.
Oh, conditions were evolving a lot. It was pretty wet there at the start of the race, so we're just trying to get tyre temp up and find the best lines through a lot of the corners there. But I was under driving a little bit because I knew it was going to dry up later on in the race, which it did, just because I wanted a little bit more tyre deg under the car, because I knew, when it dried up, the tyre was going to get a lot hotter and wear a lot more. So, I was under driving a little bit, but it was changing a lot. But definitely towards the end of the race there, it did dry up a lot and the pace went up a fair bit there. So, no, it was good fun.
It looked like we got a little bit of rain that came down in and around the midway point of the race, kind of threw a little wrench into the plans of some of the drivers. We saw a bunch of cars heading off track through once they turned 5 to 8 area where it got a little slippery. I think that's where we saw you go off to as well. But did that kind of mess up with the strategy where we're starting to dry out and then all of a sudden half the track got a downpour?
It actually... that was kind of the start of the domino effect to my night there for me, because the start of the race, under driving a little bit, actually kept Nathan and Marshall with me there a little bit, and I got a couple of touches from Nathan going into the hairpin and some other corner, so I started looking in my rearview mirror more than in the direction I was going in. So kind of spun out there, and then Nathan and I had contact again a little bit further on, so I had damage, and then I overshot my pit box, and then I underfueled to stay in front, which means I had to fuel save the last stint. So it wasn't my night. Had a bit of bad luck, but it rained a fair bit harder there in the middle part of the race. Just had to keep adjusting my brake marker and stay out of the ABS as much as possible. But no, that was a good challenge. I really, really enjoyed that. I didn't know what the wet would bring at Sebring, but it was good fun and some good hard racing.
Now we head back to a track you're fond of next week in Bathurst Mount Panorama. You came into this one fourth, if I remember correctly, in the pro points, only a few points back of, you came in third, only a few points ahead of Matsko and Jenkins. Jenkins not here this evening. Matsko had a bit of a rough race, so you're going to open up that gap a little bit. You're feeling confident you can snatch that third spot in the points championship?
Yeah, that's the plan. Like I told you boys last week, anything under a win would be pretty disappointing for me. So I did say to the guys in the chat early on, it's not race night tonight. It's 1 week until Bathurst. So that's why I was in a good mood going into this one tonight. So can't wait for that one. Watched a lot of races there as a kid and growing up. It's only a couple of hours away from me. So really looking forward to that one. Double points, a lot of risk and curveballs to come up for that. So really, really keen for that.
Excellent stuff. Well, we'll let you go get ready to get prepped up for that finale, Chris. But before we let you go, anybody want to give a shout out here to this evening?
Bit of a different one tonight. Shout out to the missus. She's studying for one of her exams only 5 meters away from me, so she's been putting up with the click and clacks of the rig and the wheel and me chatting and that sort of thing. So Godspeed to you, babe. You keep doing your thing, and hopefully don't get into trouble after this.
Well, you almost brought the win home for her too as well, Chris. So congrats on the P2, and we'll hope for big things for you next week at Bathurst. Take care. Yeah,
pray for that. Thanks, fellas. Cheers.
That was our second place finisher, Chris Lashbrook. It looks like, who else we got here? We've got, looks like Alex Jacobson was our final step on the pro podium. He's caught up with Richard Swindell's.
Hey, Alex, congratulations. Nice to see you back on the podium once again in the difficult conditions of Sebring this evening.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I got to talk to you guys, but that was a lot of fun out there, and congrats to Marshall. He just put on a dominating race as usual. And, I thought I had a chance at Chris for a little bit there, and then just, I don't know what happened there. I was struggling a lot in the hairpin and finally lost it. So just happy to be able to still keep it on the podium and in my class at the very minimum.
Yeah, we saw you lose it there, but and it didn't seem to cost you. I mean, it cost you that chance with that battle with Lashbrook, but it certainly didn't cost you anything else. You still kept it on the podium, didn't give up, dug your heels in, and went back at it. But this season's been a little bit of a struggle for you, I'd say, based on previous seasons. What do you think? What do you think the cause of that is? Is the increased competition, or you're just pushing too hard, or what's happened this season for you, Alex?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I started out the season in the Ferrari, wasn't necessarily liking it that much, so switched back to the McLaren when I had the opportunity at Road America, and thought I had a lot of pace there, and wasn't meant to be. And then, just kind of struggled in qualifying. I feel like that's been the biggest difference the rest of the season, just making little mistakes in qualifying, costing myself a few positions, and then not really able to make it up in the race. So that's what I'm trying to clean up the most in the next, I think, 2 races left of the season.
Yeah, we got the double points week, I think, concludes the season next week at Bathurst Mount Panorama. McLaren, a gorgeous looking car, but also a car that seems to have a lot of pace. You're the top car that's not a Mustang today. How do you think you're going to do there at Mount Panorama? Are you a fan?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I ran the 12-hour event earlier this year and came close to winning it with my team. So feeling pretty good, but obviously balance of performance and everything has changed since then. So haven't run any laps since that race, and we'll have to just kind of brush up and dust off the cobwebs, I guess, and see how it goes. But, I mean, those Mustangs are really fast. Marshall's always really fast no matter what he's driving. So I think I have a good shot of being up at the front. Just I don't know if I have a chance at the podium or first place.
Well, it's good to see you back up where we like seeing you, and we hope for continued success next week and hopefully next season as well, Alex. Any shout-outs? Anybody you'd like to thank tonight?
Hey, I mean, shout out to Nathan. I mean, that was a great qualifying effort there, getting on the front row, and then put together a pretty strong race there. I think he came home on the podium actually in third, so just great race for him. I think it was his first win in Pro-Am too, so congrats to him.
All right, well, there you go. Great sportsmanship from Alex Jacobson. Congratulations, Alex. We'll see you next week and hope for some more continued success.
Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
That was Alex Jacobson, third in pro class. Now let's bring in the man who put it on the outside of the front row for pole. A little bit of an up and down race for him. Fell down, got himself back up into second place. Going to take top spot in Pro-Am class. I believe that is his first win in Class 2 as well. So Nathan Fuller, congrats. Welcome in. Talk us through your race.
Oh, thank you. I mean, it was survive the wet, that was kind of the deal, and we did that mostly at the start, and then once it started to dry and those tires get hot, just the mistakes started to compound. I mean, if we didn't have those, probably would have had something for Chris, but managed to take the number 3 overall and the first ever Pro-Am win, so happy about that. And yeah, just did what we could during the race. The practice definitely paid off.
Now we had asked, I asked Chris Lashbrook as well. It looked like we got that kind of downpouring of rain for a minute or two in the middle of the race after things started drying out. As you mentioned, the tires started getting a little hot. And that's where it looks like a bunch of drivers started struggling. Yourself and Chris kind of slid off a couple of corners there. Did that really throw a wrench into your whole strategy where you were kind of focused on maybe the track continuing to dry out and all of a sudden you had that little bit of downpour that kind of wet the surface again?
Yeah, I mean, when the tires started to get hot like that and then you get the wet again, they just don't cool down fast enough. So, you saw the rain come down and then trying to manage braking points and such at that juncture is it's difficult to judge, So definitely it was slippery, it was slidey. Was happy when it went away, but at the same time, those wets got hot pretty quick. So it was just management from there on through.
Now we head into next week, double points race next week at Mount Panorama. You came into this one sitting in, I think it was about 5th or 6th in points. Potentially have a chance to catch Dustin Wells up ahead of you to get yourself into, I think that's a top 5 position for the end of the season. You think you got something to offer him at Bathurst?
I think with this race, I might have jumped him. So we'll see when the points come out, but we'll definitely have a duel for that 5th place spot, or I think it's 4th place between two of us. I'm not too sure, but either way, we're definitely gonna have a duel. You know, we're good. We were good buddies. We're in voice chat. You know, we're racing with each other quite often, so it'll be fun. We'll see what we can do, and hopefully I can snag that from him and take the place in the points.
Excellent stuff. Well, again, congrats on the win here this evening. Before we let you go, anybody want to give it a shout out that might have helped you get ready to snatch this first win in FMA?
I mean, just first shout out to everybody running it. You know, Matt having to deal with all the weather stuff, and then all the admins, and then y'all guys streaming it. We really appreciate it. And then, you know, out there, Chris and I were practicing and battling each other's times off Garage 61 all week. So definitely a bit of friendly competition there. And of course, what you saw on track. So shout out to him and the Threshold guys, and looking forward to next week. Hopefully we can cap it off on a good one.
Excellent stuff. Well, we'll let you go get ready for that race, Nathan. Again, congrats on the win, and hopefully we're talking to you again maybe next week.
Thank you. I hope so. Have a good one.
Take care. That was our Pro-Am winner. Now let's bring in our 2nd place driver in Pro-Am class, Anthony Barranco. He's going to catch up with Richard Swindells.
Hello?
Richard? Oh, looks like Rich has had to step away from it.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, no, I'm back. Sorry,
Okay.
guys. Yeah, there we go. That just a little technical difficulties on my end. Anthony, congratulations. 2nd in class, 5th overall. Solid effort here at Sebring this evening.
Oh, hell yeah. Sebring is definitely one of my top 3 favorite tracks, definitely. I mean, and then when I saw rain, I mean, I love these types of conditions. It's always so fun and challenging at the same time. Congrats to Fuller. That's the first Pro-Am victory for him this year, and the first one of the season where it wasn't me or Mavis, where me and Mavis competed. I know Matt got Road Atlanta, but me and Kyle didn't compete that one. So we'll never know who would have won that one, but this was well-deserved by Fuller. I just wanted to get that out of the way right off the top. Great race.
Yeah, it was. The rain changes things up a little bit. Different skill levels, different comfort levels, and you seemed at home there. Like you said, Sebring, you like rain races. Kind of put it all together.
Yep. Done lots of laps here, whether it's dry or wet. I mean, I've driven the track, you know, in real life, dry and wet. So it's my home away from home, if there is one, for sure.
Well, awesome. Next week we're going a little further away from home, and in a probably dry race, I'm going to make a bold assumption there into Australia, Mount Panorama, Bathurst. How do you think that's going to go, Anthony? Are you going to be battling it out with Kyle? You're going to be battling it up with the leaders? What are your expectations next week?
I believe next week is double points too, if I'm not wrong. So
Yes, it is.
Anything could happen. Me and Kyle both finished ahead of Eshelman. That should bring us all closer together. I mean, it could be. I mean, somebody wins and you get 2 guys between you with the double points factor and the class win bonus. I mean, that might be all it takes to bring home the hardware. So we'll see what happens.
Awesome. Well, Anthony, any shout outs you'd like to give or thanks? I know, see those big logos on the side of your car, and I know you're doing some great things for the esport of we got going on here.
Absolutely. We got grid seat on the car. That's, you know, we got a series kicking off where basically we're taking sim racers and doing the amateur version of the Gran Turismo movie, where you win the series and you get a seat paid for, you know, in IRL in a Champ Car Series event. So free to participate. That kicks off on Saturday. I'm going to shout out the series in general this today specifically. I mean, I know there were a couple suspect moves here and there, but there was nowhere near the chaos that I thought there was going to be with these conditions.
Yeah, us either.
I mean, so great job, everyone, from what I could see. Good job.
Yeah, it certainly was. Well, Anthony Barranco, congratulations. We're looking forward to the season finale next week, and seeing how everything plays out. Anthony Barranco, 2nd place in Pro-Am, 5th overall.
Good night, guys.
Okay, let's round out the podium in Pro-Am with our chief admin, Matt Mars, hopped into the Porsche this week. Matt, you come home on podium in class, couldn't quite chase down Barranco and Fuller up ahead, but you had a heck of a battle there at the end with Anderson and Ryder Poe.
Yeah, I think I rubbed every bit of paint off of Brandon's rear bumper those last 3 laps, but yeah, I shot myself in the foot early. I was being overly cautious those first couple of laps, and let the leaders get to a pretty good substantial lead out in front of me, and then slid off the track. And is it Tower? I have trouble with the names here, but hit the curb and a puddle and locked it up and slid off. Fortunately, didn't get any damage or anything, but lost probably 5 or 6 seconds there. So compound all that, that's my race really. But still managed to bring it home on a podium, so can't really complain.
Now, we've seen you hop cars all season. What are you going to have in store here for Bathurst next week for the double points finale?
Okay, so Bathurst is one that's either going to be, I really like the BMW there. I ran it, probably one of my better races I ran with Throttle Freaks was a few years ago at Bathurst with the BMW. It suits me there pretty well. It's either going to be that or probably the McLaren. I know Mustang's probably going to be OP, but man, that car is like driving a tank around there. It feels like it's twice the width of any other car, and going up the hill, it just, I don't feel comfortable in it there. So yeah, it's probably going to be one of those two. I'm going to practice like crazy this week and see which one really suits my style better.
The margins for error are definitely tight up on the mountain, and you don't want to be driving the old big booty Mustang and have a mistake up there. But you had a nice race in the rain. We talked earlier about your race last week, last season at Silverstone in the rain, where you had a real dominating performance going and had that spin towards the end. You managed to keep all 4 tires on track here, but you know what? I think maybe we need to have a couple more rain races each season to see a little farther up on the podium here.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I don't know what it is about rain that just clicks with me, but yeah, I think maybe being able to drive the car more on the edge and being comfortable. I don't know if it's my dirt racing background where I used to drive modifieds and late models on dirt here back home, and I don't know, I tend to like a car a little more on the edge, and maybe that's got something to do with it. That and the fact that I put in about usually 5 hours of practice trying to dial these forecasts in for these rain races, that doesn't hurt matters any either. So but yeah, I'd love to see a couple next season. I know for sure we're going to do one. I think Hockenheim is looking like it's going to be a rain race. Chase, we had guys, it was originally going to be Miami, and someone sponsored it and said please don't make it rain. So, and then I was going to do Fuji, and I think Fuji may have got booted. I can't remember if it's on the schedule anymore or not. So Chase like, put it on Hockenheim, we'll just do it there. So we'll see how that turns out.
Well, we'll let you go get ready for the finale next week at Bathurst. But before we do, Matt, any shout-outs you want to give anybody cheering you on or helping you on the admin side each week?
Yeah, absolutely. As always, thanks to the guys in the league. We didn't have quite the turnout we had hoped, but 28 cars on a rain race, you can't really complain with that. And thanks to everybody for showing up, for making it, fairly clean race, and appreciate all the guys that donate to help keep this broadcast going and help fund these races. And of course, thanks to you guys for a wonderful broadcast as always, and of course thanks to my admin team. We've got Mark and Chase and Ryan and Jacob, and man, we're filling the room. Jacob Williams, and there's several of us in there now, and Marshall's in one of our, I give them the trusted advisor role. They help with a couple of calls on some things, and I think we've got a really group of guys behind us here, and I like the direction the league's heading, and really looking forward to what we've got in store next season. And of course, thanks to the wife and kids for putting up with this. But at one point here, my son come up beside me, and I think I just passed Nigel for 10th or something. He said, "You got this, Daddy." So I thanks for the encouragement there. So yeah, but like I said, thanks to everybody for making this possible.
It sounds like we might need Admin Advantage Team 1 and 2 next season by the bodies that are getting added onto the league. But
I'm working on putting all the Iron Horse guys up there. We're trying to stack the deck. We got FR and Threshold joining forces, and we're gonna have to do the same up there. I guess it's Iron Admin Racing or something. I don't know. I'll come up with some cool name for that.
Well, we'll let you go get ready here, Matt. Again, thanks for having us on board, and best of luck heading into Bathurst next week.
Appreciate you guys. We'll see y'all next week.
Take care. We don't have our AM winner, but we have the next best thing, and that's Alexander Berger, P2 in AM class, caught up with Richard Swindells.
Hey, Alex, second place. That's going to close the gap to Jacob Williams a little bit. Interesting race for you. A little issue early on when you and Nigel Steele come together at Hairpin. But after that, it looks like he got back underway to finish third, and you kept trekking on and having that great battle with Felipe Dos Santos. How'd that go for you?
Yeah, so obviously me and Steely got into each other. We were in the same Discord at the time. We're teammates, so obviously that wasn't fun, but we both saw what we did wrong there. I was locked up on the brakes, and I was telling him even before I hit him, like, hey dude, I was screaming. And he when I tapped him, he had throttled through it just to try and get off the track, and he said that's what caused the spin. So we talked it out. I don't think Chase is going to give me a penalty from what I heard, so thankfully. And I was the only driver tonight with a 0x. I didn't get an X from that, so out of all...
That's impressive.
I know. All 27 people that started at a 0x, so I'll take it. And then, yeah, Dos Santos, I had him in the wet, but as soon as it started drying, I couldn't. The fixed Porsche setup started showing.
It started showing, but yeah, you guys had a great battle. I mean, overall for the better part of the race. Nice to see. And overall, were you surprised at how clean and the racing was, and how limited the crashes were considering the wet conditions?
Yeah, that lap one, from my point of view, was not happy. Like 4 wide, I think, where I was.
Yeah.
And I thought there was gonna be a lot more chaos in turn one. And yeah, it was. I know there were some incidents here and there. Obviously, I was involved in one, but I was expecting just chaos, and everyone kept it pretty clean.
Yeah, that's what you like to see, and that's why it's good when you're racing with the same people week in, week out. They do their best. But next week we're at Bathurst, season finale, double points night. You're going to close the gap to Jacob Williams a little bit. Still a monumental task to pass him, but you're solidly in second place. Increase your gain over Justin Moskowitz. What are you expecting at Bathurst next week, Alex?
It's going to be I would expect it to be a chaos race. It's also, I think it's gonna be hard to pass. Qualifying is gonna be very important. It's gonna be passing going up and going down the mountain, but other than that, once you're there, you're kind of there. Yeah, based off how the points are gonna go, I think I'm gonna need to beat Jacob by 2 or 3 positions, I'd imagine, with the double points to kind of grab him. So we'll have to see. I'm excited. I'm expecting a lot of people.
I'm expecting a lot too. Rob and I are both excited. We want to see what you can do. We want to see what your navigator can do. Hopefully he can guide you around the mountain successfully. Anyhow, Alex, any shout-outs, any thank yous tonight?
Shout out to Fuller, another Threshold guy, put it on the front row in Pro-Am. So obviously good on him. Shout out to Steely. Sorry, bud, but he ended up coming back and finishing just behind me as well. Yeah, shout out to all the Threshold guys, and to you guys in the booth. Do a great job as always.
No, thank you. Alexander Berger, second place in amateur going into the finale.
Okay, and we'll wrap things up here with our P3 in AM class, Nigel Steely. Nigel, we just heard from your teammate Alex Berger about that incident early on where he got into the left quarter of you. He said he didn't even get a incident or a 4X or anything. Still ended up with a 0X in that incident. But other than that, it looks like you were able to recover back to third place. All in all, how'd your race go?
It's pretty tough. Obviously, that little incident early, I have another spin, but it kind of worked out because I was able to pit. So it all worked out.
How confident in the rain were you coming into this race? Have you had a lot of experience on it, or is it something you just kind of went to school on this week to try and find some pace?
I just went to school this week. That was the first, or it's probably the first or second, might be the second rain race I've ever done. So it was kind of scary, especially early on, being in the middle of the pack and not being able to see 5 feet in front of me. So Yeah, it was something else.
Yeah, we remarked a couple times about how clean the start of the race was. So if that was only your second or third rain race, don't get too used to it. They don't start out that clean as what they did, although you were involved in it with Alexander. But we head to Bathurst next week, a track that seems to be either a love it or hate it for a lot of racers. How are you feeling about having the double points finale there?
I love it. It's I've been putting some practice in, just with some practice sessions and whatnot, and seems like it'll be a lot of fun. It'll be my first official race on there, but I put a bunch of time into it, so I'm excited.
Are we going to see you in the Mustang again there next week, or are you going to try and hop into a different car for the finale?
I'll probably run the Mustang. If not, I'll be in the Ferrari, but probably Mustang. I've liked it. I like the uniqueness of it, so.
So it looks like you came into this one in 5th in points in class. Looks like about 15 points back of Marc Ossier. So it looks like potentially you might be able to move up a spot if you have a nice finish at Bathurst next week. Do you think you got a chance to leapfrog him? I'm not sure if Moskowitz is within grasp, but looks like potentially there is a battle between you and Ossier for 4th in class.
Yeah, I want to try to go and win next week. It'll be a lot of fun. There'll be a lot of people, I'm sure, and it'll be getting over the mountain. We'll probably eat some people up, but stay safe, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. I think you got a chance.
Excellent stuff. We look forward to seeing how you do next week to wrap it up at the finale. But before we let you go here, Nigel, anybody want to give a shout out to this maybe helped you get ready all this week or this season?
Yeah, Threshold, obviously, for taking me under their wing, and my wife, she let me buy a new computer this week. So went from running like 40 FPS to being able to run 180. So thanks, my wife.
Oh, there we go. There's the reason for the success right there. He can see what's going on here now. So we expect big things from you at Bathurst next. I'm just kidding, Nigel. But best of luck heading into the finale next week. And hopefully we see you back on the podium again. And hopefully, as you said, on that top step of the podium for the finale next week. Go get ready, and we'll talk to you then.
Absolutely, guys. Thanks for doing what you guys do.
Take care. So, Rich, that's going to wrap up the interviews here for this evening for the penultimate round of the Alpha Reinforcing GT3 Series on FMA. What were your thoughts after that strong showing to start the race here for relatively clean driving?
The driving standards tonight were exceptional, Rob, and just a quick look at the Stewards first review. Right now, they're not anticipating any penalties for tonight. So, well done to all the drivers. Didn't give us the excitement we were hoping for in terms of incidents, but it did in terms of a great race action. But anyhow, that was we got one race left to go next week at Bathurst. But FMA GT3 Challenge next race August 31st. Rob Campbell did production. Rob Campbell did lots of the talking. I helped him out. Richard Swindells. Thanks for joining us, folks. We'll see you next week.